Welcome back to Worth It or Not, a series where we look at a game that was released years ago. The purpose for this is to help you decide whether you should spend your hard-earned money on a certain video game. With the way things are now with inflation, it is not cheap to be a gamer, especially in 2024, when the standard fee for a AAA game is $69.99. So today we take a small trip to the busy city of Hong Kong where we played Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is a story that follows Wei Shen, who recently returned from San Francisco to his hometown of Hong Kong. He is now part of the Hong Kong police force and is working undercover on an operation to weaken one of the most powerful triads in all of China. He is to infiltrate the Sun On Yee. He has a personal connection to the triad and a mean streak in him. Some of his colleagues are worried that this assignment could bring more bad than good. However, Detective Wei believes he can take on the operation with a clear head. But soon after joining the triad via a childhood friend, he begins to rise up the ranks rather quickly, and he is put in a tough predicament. He has to perform his duties as a Hong Kong police officer and perform the duties of a ruthless triad member. He becomes stuck between two very different worlds. Can he handle it, or will it all come crashing down? Now, originally, Sleeping Dogs was released for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows PC on August 14th, 2012 in North America, August 16th, 2012 in Australia, and August 17th, 2012 in Europe. 2 years later, in October 10th, 2014, a definitive edition of Sleeping Dogs would be released. This would be an enhanced version for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Windows PC. Now, the game holds up extremely well all these years later. For reference, I played on the PlayStation 5 and I played the PS4 Definitive Edition of Sleeping Dogs. This game ran smoothly and I didn't have any problems with frames dropping or game crashes. The graphics of the game were high quality and most of the voice acting was delivered perfectly. The combat was responsive and felt like something new for me. There was lots of customizations for your character, different pre-made outfits, and many outfits that you could design yourself. Some of the clothes feel 2012, but funny enough, you can dress your character with more of a fitted look that reminded me a lot of more current times in fashion. It feels like the game was ahead of its time. And finally, the story holds up well in 2024. A detective who goes undercover and falls so deep in his cover that the lines begin to blur. It is something that has happened in real life and something that many movies have talked about. It is a storyline that has been around for ages, but Sleeping Dogs keeps it fresh. And when applied to a video game format, it really creates an awesome dynamic that tests not only your character's loyalty, but also yours, the player. Potentially the second most important thing about a game is its gameplay. With Sleeping Dogs being over 10 years old, you would think that its gameplay has taken a hit or it feels sluggish and possibly outdated, but you'd be completely wrong. The approach that Sleeping Dog takes is one of fighting and mixed martial arts. Because of this, the gameplay feels new and fresh, even in 2024. See, I expected regular gunplay and fighting in Sleeping Dogs, kind of like GTA, with the bulk of it being gun combat, but it was the opposite. The focus is so high on fighting with your fists that they incorporated many types of fighting, mini combos, grappling, and much more. It's sophisticated enough to make you feel like Donnie Yen, but easy enough that almost anyone can do it. The only negative would be its counters. Sometimes they felt slow to respond or it felt like it slowed me down when fighting, but in all honesty, that could have just been me and my bad timing. There is gun combat in the game and the weapons feel strong and frankly overpowered. They are a blast to use when they are available. The car mechanics are weird and different from something like a GTA, and I found myself sucking at driving most of the time. But weirdly enough, the only time that I was actually good at it was when I did races and lives were on the line. Hong Kong is beautiful in Sleeping Dogs. It felt like a breath of fresh air to play in a city that wasn't Hollywood or New York. There's nothing wrong with those places, but in gaming I always feel like we end up there, especially for games in this genre. Hong Kong felt alive and busy. There were people walking everywhere. There was traffic, the night markets were packed, and the people were calling out to you trying to sell you food, clothes, drinks, massages, and anything in between. The people around the market or food vendors began to know your name the more you were around, and they began to refer to you by your name. Wei. I love everything about the world, and it had so many things to do, so many side quests, like favors, drug busts, police work, and much, much more. Now for the verdict, the reason that all of you guys are here today. Is Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition worth it in 2024? Absolutely yes. I had a blast playing the game, from its story, to its combat, to its love interest, the nightlife in Hong Kong, and the street races. It all called to me, even being a cop. I loved working undercover and all the things that it entailed. I think Sleeping Dogs is one of those games that will always be worth it, and 12 years later, it doesn't feel outdated. Not yet. You can get your hands on Sleeping Dogs for $19.99 on Steam, $29.99 on the PlayStation Store, and $29.99 on the Xbox Store. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Worth It or Not. I hope I was able to influence or better inform you and your decision on buying this game. However, if you're still undecided, be sure to look at other videos and reviews before buying. To my subscribers, I thank you for watching and helping the channel grow in 2024. And if you're new here, consider subscribing and liking the video. We have so much more content coming in 2024. And I'd like to leave you guys with this. I am working on a retrospect for Sleeping Dogs that will release sometime in the coming weeks. And the purpose is to dive much deeper into Sleeping Dogs, its development, its planned sequel, and dive a little bit deeper into the character of Wei Shen. If you're interested in that, be sure to stay tuned and let me know down in the comments below. But once again, thank you, and I'll see you in our next video.